you, man?
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks for having me down, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
absolutely. It's nice to finally meet you actually after all of our group chats with Sharpie regarding crypto and that world.
And all that stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, it was actually a strange moment going, oh, yeah, that's Josh right there.
it was actually. Yeah,
Yeah,
because only saw you on webcam for a minute.
yeah.
Um, you're way bigger than I thought you were gonna. Isn't that weird? It's like when you see actors for the first time or whatever, and like I saw. Are you a football fan?
Yeah, a little bit of a
Yeah,
foot fan. Yeah,
I saw Silvani
yeah,
in the car wash up there. And I just always thought he was like my size,
yeah.
way bigger than that.
He's like, yeah.
He's huge and broad, but so tall and fuck.
Talk footy people that were like bigger than I expected. Peter Dacos when I was a kid from Collingwood, and
Right.
I just remember like looking at him on TV. I was like, oh yeah, he's like my size, and yeah, I'm a kid,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and
Yeah, right,
then
right,
you see
right.
him, you're like, wow,
Well, they're around so many other big dudes, isn't it?
yeah,
You know,
exactly, yeah.
it's like even the NBA players, they're big, but you really don't have scope.
You know that they're 6 foot something, and you
Yeah.
don't realize that, yeah, they're peaking.
It's like seeing that photo of The Rock and Charles Barkley and Shaq, and he's like, hey guys, they're broader, taller, bigger than one of the biggest dudes around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, man.
Mm. So let's just set the scene. Fill me in. Just I know that you're in the circus world.
Yep.
You've been in that for
Oh man, I opened up a circus company as soon as I graduated acting school, actually.
okay.
Because there was a circus school next door, and I was doing a lot of corporate work for corporate entertainment for the casino. So yeah, man, I've been in the circus game from 2007 till now.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, constantly creating shows. We started off just doing special VIP events,
Mm-hmm.
and then we got to a point at around about 2009 where we're like, hey, let's actually make our own show,
Mm-hmm.
and just we hit the ground running from an indie scene, and we've kind of stayed doing the indie stuff and just upping the stakes and upping the ante
Mm-hmm.
throughout the years, and just kind of doing bigger budgets and bigger things, which has been really cool.
Slight production note here, babe. Did you set the timer? Thank you. Um, on a side note, just to sort of make that not seem as rude as it is.
Yeah,
I watched a couple of podcasts with like big people who are trying to run it themselves,
yeah,
and they always have to apologize, like because they're like, "Oh fuck, man, I'm sorry, but I'm just seeing this light flicker on this camera, or I don't know if I can hear this." So if I fade for a little bit, I'm just checking things.
no, you're all
Um,
right.
but 2007 is an interesting time to go. Let's go into business.
Yeah, I mean, geez, what was it the year before the global
Oh, it
financial
was
crisis?
before, yeah, of
Actually,
course,
yeah, it's
or
like
as it was
as it
happening.
was hitting. I actually remember as the GFC kind of really started taking hits. Because I'd been investing in shares. My mum worked for the bank, so I learned at about 16 to start trading in shares. So
Wow.
here I am, in year 10, year 8, year 9, going, oh, this is cool. I'm knowing how to do shares.
Yeah.
And then the GFC hits once I, start running my own business, get out
Mhm.
of university. And then that happens. I'm like, coolest thing to
Oh,
do.
my dad's a share trader and has been through the dot-com
Oh, the dot-com
bust,
crash. Yeah.
and then the GFC one hit him hard,
Yeah.
hard. I mean, he went from, I don't know, I want to say a $2 million portfolio to 60 grand or something like that, and collecting washing machines off the side of the road just to sell
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I convinced my parents at the time that just before the GFC hit, I was like, hey, why don't you guys use a little bit of that equity money
Hmm.
to buy some ANZ shares, and then as soon as it makes a move on a dollar, sell it, and that pays a month in advance on your home loan. They're like,
Hmm.
that's a great idea. It worked the first 2 times they did it,
Mm.
and then they did it on go number 3,
Yeah.
and that's when it did that massive drop when they raised interest rates and everything just tanked.
It.
Yeah, so I felt a little bit kind of responsible for offering the innovative idea, and after that, I was like, you know what, I give investing a
Put the
little bit of
brakes.
yeah, and
Yeah.
I pumped the brakes on investing until about 2015, where
Yeah. Right.
that's when I started learning about eToro and a few other trading platforms where it was just convenience on your phone
Mm.
rather than, you know,
The smartphone has changed the game
oh
so much.
man,
I mean, my dad does like he's got the three screens and he still does it through ComSec and he's watching charts and whatnot. He doesn't really plot just, it's so funny. We'll get back to acting in a second, but I was talking to him about. I was like, oh, how do what indicators do you use and
yeah,
markers and what have you? And he goes, I fucking put a ruler up to the screen.
that's it. Just
And
to follow
I
the line.
pissed myself laughing just seeing him like the builder that he is with his measuring tape out. Oh yeah, I reckon that's gonna break out at fucking
I love
and
that.
like all the tools in the world right there on the computer.
Yeah, you got Bollinger Bands,
Yeah,
moving averages, everything. It's like,
yeah,
what's he use? Mate, I just use a good old fashioned 30 centimeter ruler, mate.
yeah.
There we
I've
go.
had it since I was a boy.
Yeah.
So when which acting school did you go to? You from Melbourne, yeah?
Yeah, so
Yeah,
I went when Swinburne University had a TAFE course it was called Small Companies in Community Theatre,
right.
right? So it was like, entry level, get into acting, but you also learn to run a theatre company. It was a great course, and it was alongside
Shit.
the Swinburne University course of
Mm.
filmmaking that was on the other side of it, literally across the road. So that was only a 2 year dip that I did. And then from there, I managed to hit the ground running and started getting into the indie circuit of filmmaking
Mm-hmm.
and theatre making, which just kind of kept me going. I didn't have to do any more additional study. I kind of just kept punching from gig to gig and learning my craft with guys and working with the costume department to do their productions, moving onto the film guys. And then once I graduated, I was working with those guys who are all up and coming kind of indie directors and indie producers wanting to do different little things. Yeah, long story short, it was probably the best thing. I know a lot of people are like, oh, you didn't go to VCA, you didn't go to NIDA,
Fuck, I went
or
to
even
TAFTA.
yeah, hey man,
Yeah.
Tafta was great,
Yeah, it is
man.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, like to hear people going, oh, you didn't go to VCA. I'm like,
That's
nah.
weird, isn't it?
And the course dissolved after I finished, and it moved and became theatre arts.
Okay.
Like the glorified, year 12 drama on steroids for 2 years.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was that right at that sweet spot. Like our graduating piece was working at the Commonwealth Games, doing live entertainment for all the people during the
Shit.
all that stuff that was happening in Melbourne. And then we did about 3 or 4 other theatre projects.
Mm-hmm.
And then we did a circus project, and that's where I kind of started falling in love with circus and running circus and acting parallel for a long period of time. And for the last maybe 7, 8 years, circus was taking a bit more of a head start now, and
Mm-hmm.
now only towards this period of time in my life where I'm like, I think I want to get back into acting because man, circus hurts the body a fair bit.
Yeah. So you perform in circus as well?
Yeah, absolutely.
And had you give us the legacy of that?
So I started off doing juggling and manipulation,
Mm-hmm.
which is like the stuff you do.
Entry level.
It's the
Yeah.
super entry level stuff. I mean, juggling, if you can do it, great. Power
Working
to you.
hard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. But I started off doing manipulation, juggling, and
Which
then
is?
so manipulation is when it's like juggling without traditional stuff like balls or
Okay.
clubs. It's
Chainsaws and shit.
it's more stuff like cigar boxes,
Oh,
hula hoops, things like that. I know they're other objects that you manipulate around your body.
right. Okay.
Anyway, I quickly moved away from that.
Mm-hmm.
I kept a few of them with me, but I moved away because I was a bigger guy doing what's called adagio and hand-to-hand acrobatics, where I started lifting people and throwing people in the air,
Okay.
pitching, all that kind of stuff. And then I moved into the realm of Russian bar. And what Russian bar is 3 pole vaulting poles, literally
Mm-hmm.
strapped together with flesh tape, and we turned it into a human trampoline. So I'm the guy that is the human springs that throws the person in
Right.
the air and
Okay.
catches them on a pole this wide, and they go up 6, 7 meters, and then you've got to catch and land
Jesus.
them. And that's where I've had probably the most success. I ended up in Circus Oz, doing shows for them,
Mm-hmm.
and I did a couple of other really big kind of high-profile gigs with Russian bar. And now, as I ended up injuring myself with Russian bar, I'm getting back into it again. I had to take a year off, but now I learned a few other skills in my little bag: knife throwing, magic quick change. I've gone back to doing some manipulation stuff and back to acrobatics now that
Mm-hmm.
my body's at kind of full health. It's funny when you do injure yourself in the circus, you're out of the game for a little while.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, any kind of training really, and it can be the simplest stuff. Like I get tendinopathy in my elbows,
Yeah, right.
and that wiped me out for a year when I got a bad dose. I mean, I couldn't do a push up, I couldn't
Yeah,
hold a plate in my hand, like
yeah, you can't.
all grip was gone, all strength was gone, and that's just so minor. You can't see it. You can function in real day life, but all training
Yeah,
was done. Like even people go, oh, what about doing legs, whatever? Yeah, you can do lunges and stuff at home, but if you want to put a plate on a bar, you can't hold the bar.
can't
You can't put
actually
the
do
plate
that.
on.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was fucked. And so
yeah,
now it's always there. I
yeah,
just have to really like, because I do a lot, I do entry level gymnastics,
yeah.
the rings and ropes and stuff like that.
Yeah, I did see the setup as I was walking down accidentally.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was like, man,
yeah,
he's got
yeah.
some Roman rings. Look at
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Yeah,
100% love it. And on my best day, I can do ring muscle ups and stuff like that. But if I, yeah, go just that little bit too hard, I'm out for months.
yeah.
It's just a real constant balance.
Well, yeah, and this is a thing that I found with circus, right? With circus, you learn to do one set of skills really well,
Right.
right? But the problem is with that you don't train the rest of your muscles. This is why coming out of recovery, I ended up wanting to train up every part of my body. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm functionally fit across everything. Russian bar, as long as your upper back, lower back, your glutes, and your
To
abs
take that
can
load.
take that blunt trauma
Mm-hmm.
of a person dropping at 4 or
Mm-hmm.
5 meters back onto you.
Terminal velocity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
at a pretty decent velocity. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it ends up weighing the hit before it sponges
Mm-hmm.
is around about 100 kilos that you're taking. If the person's 50, it's about 100.
Doubles.
Yeah, by the time they hit you,
Yeah, right.
and then the force is absorbed. But yeah, it's 100 to 200 kilos that a person's taking a hit every time, and you're not just doing it once; you're
No.
catching them and springing them constantly.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I learned. So I started training on both sides of the shoulder, and then learning to use more than just the back, the legs, and all those bits and
Mm-hmm.
pieces. Learning to start training my core to take the hits.
Yeah, it
My
has to be a team effort.
oh man,
Yeah.
you got to make the whole body take it.
Yeah, 100%.
And coming out of coming out of injury into back to performing, I'm twice as strong as I used to be.
Yeah.
Move twice as fast. When the doctor said to me, "You'd never be able to really deadlift 60 kilos ever again," I was like, "No, no."
No, it's bullshit.
Yeah, yeah,
The
exactly. As
amount
soon
of
as you hear that,
yeah.
you're like, "No, no, no, I'm doing this."
It's such shit. Do you know the knees over toes guy?
No.
Guys, check this guy out. He's fucking incredible. So I do training through. I used to, and I still use their program through, and I've talked about them a lot on here actually. Guys in Sydney called Unity Gym.
Yeah.
And they draw from a bunch of different places, but the oldest sort of source is a guy called, pretty sure I'm getting this right, Charles Poliquin.
Yep.
And he was like one, if my understanding is right, one of the first people to say that this whole, never going over your toes in a squat or a lunge or anything like that is bullshit. And that if we don't train this muscle here,
Yeah.
we lose all of our strength in our knees. And that's how we can keep them really strong forever.
Yeah, right.
And this other guy, he was just on Joe Rogan actually. I forget what his name is, but he's called the knees over toe guy. And because Joe Rogan had him on because he was like,
Hello.
hi, sweetheart. Um, he heard about him, and he was from the same. Joe Rogan was from the same school. We always thought you should never. And this, I mean, obviously there's a component of his martial arts that would have him do that, but and this guy at like 18, 19, 20 had 3 knee reconstructions, and his knees were fucked. He was like, he'll say this himself. I'm not a genetic specimen. Like I have to really work for what I've got. And if anything, I was a bit of a dud. But I really wanted to play basketball. My knees were fucked. And he, however, found this guy, Charles, rebuilt his knees with this style of training to the point where he's 6'1" and he can dunk. Now he's 30.
Yeah.
Right? Like this leap on him is incredible. And he went and he ended up getting a scholarship for something. And I want to say basketball, right? And when he told the coach that he was going to add this component to his training, they kicked him out.
Jeez, man.
You're not doing it.
So dumb.
But isn't it crazy? And to go back to football for a second, I'm an Eagles fan, and we've got 15 of our top 20 or something out with injury.
Yeah.
Constantly soft tissue injuries. And I'm just, You know, there's that sometimes, like they say that like Dustin Martin is almost always injury free because he outsources his training and
Yeah, right.
does a different. He doesn't train with the boys. He does his own thing.
Yeah.
Because there must be a system in place that's still a bit antiquated. It has to be.
It must be just some
People
old
going
fashioned.
down like syndesmosis injuries, like flat out hamstring.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, you know.
Yeah. It's interesting that, man. I don't understand if they're seeing it happen. Why don't they just go, you know what? Let's look at
Yeah,
alternative way,
yeah.
or let's look at functional training. I mean, I know that there was
Functional
a
training.
lot
Yeah.
of dudes when there was the cult of F45 that kind of hit pretty hard,
Oh,
but
yeah.
that body fit and
CrossFit.
CrossFit, all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
Kipping pull-ups.
Yeah, but
Fucking hell.
you know what? I've got to give it some merit is that they've started showing people functional strength and alternatives to it. Not going to agree with 90% of their stuff. Like I agree with about 5 to 10% of
Yeah.
their stuff, but it's great that people are like, yeah, I can start doing ice skaters and burpees, and actually it's functional. It's the stuff that I need for my body to be able to do
Yeah.
load and move around and all that kind of stuff. Other people just they're stuck in their ways of traditional. Resets a
Yeah,
10, man.
their
That's it.
shoulders are completely
Yeah,
rolled
and they're like, yeah, I'm
yeah.
doing my deadlifts like this. It's all
Yeah,
that
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. No, it's been a game changer for me. That gymnastics mentality, and your acrobatic circus people probably know this, but there was an interesting study done. I don't know, let's say 6 years ago,
yeah,
that classified like Olympic gymnastics as scientifically the most elite hardest sport on the planet
yeah,
because the speed at which they move in a 1080 or whatever it is that they're doing in the air, and the precision and the strength to be able to control body weight at 10 times its weight at that speed,
yeah,
it's phenomenal.
yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what upsets me about this thing? Gymnasts at an elite level, where do they go once the Olympics is the top of their list? There's no like competitive sport where there's money or sponsorship to it. Where do they go? Join the circus, mate.
Right,
That's
right.
where they all end up,
Yeah.
which is great for some people, but some people don't see that as a career choice sometimes. Hey, man, it's performing and
Fuck,
it's
it's
doing cool
awesome.
shit. That's it.
It's
Yeah,
hard.
yeah,
It's
it's
awesome.
difficult. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
man. Fucking oath, it's
I
difficult.
mean, I love the fact that the acts that I do, for example, knife throwing, there's 30 couples in the world that do it.
Hmm.
That's 60 people that do knife
Shit.
throwing at a performance elite level.
Hmm.
And Russian bar, there's less than 20 troops. 20 troops of 30 people. Sorry, of 3 people.
Hmm.
That's it. I love the fact that I wake
Yeah.
up and I'm like,
I'll do something
I do
special.
some shit that
Yeah.
literally is like 1 in a million. That's pretty cool.
It's awesome. It's
Yeah.
very cool. So to transition back to your push into acting, what
Yeah.
does that look like for you now? Like, where are you at with it? What's your feeling?
Yeah, I I was lucky enough to get in as a freelancer, not any representation into the recent Wog Boys movie, doing
Oh yeah.
a minor role in that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the push came literally from that. Going, you know what? This is what I enjoy. This is what I miss. So I'm kind of working with a bunch of independent guys, including Anthony Sharp, which we
Mm.
both know,
Mm.
Nick Farnell, and a couple of those
Oh yeah,
guys.
that group. Yeah.
Yeah, and just I'm really enjoying the fact of independent filmmaking at a high level.
Mm-hmm.
Not hey, we got one and we're doing this, but the fact that they've got they're still running with producers, line producers, lighting, sound department, and they're running on a skeleton crew.
Mm.
But it's not two dudes and the actors. It's it's still 10, 15 people and the actors, which is great. And that's just been the slow shift and transition. I did a lot of stuff live in theatre,
Mm-hmm.
in the acting world for the last 6, 7 years. That's kind of braced me back into my first stepping back into film again because I hadn't touched it in about a decade.
Yeah. Right.
I think the last project I did again was Mystery of the Handsome Cab, which was an ABC show a long time ago, or Whatever Happened to That Guy, which was another comedy that again was just an ABC show. Prior to that, I was doing a bunch of indie features and indie shorts,
Mm-hmm.
and I think the biggest one that kind of went anywhere was called Infinite Shades of Grey, and that was quite an interesting feature film that kind of how it is with films. It gets to a point where they run out of money on an indie, and they're like, we'll just piece it together. And they managed to piece it together and had a screening. It was okay. But it's always that thing you're like,
Mm.
wish they had 5 grand more just to get the editor over the line. But nah, then somebody else took it and went with it and did something.
Yeah, it's really hard, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. But I have been enjoying this, being a guy that runs his own business, entertainment, and being, I like to think that I'm a good performer.
Mhm.
I like seeing good performances, good crews, and good things all kind of coming together. And I love end up level. Don't
Mhm.
get me wrong. If I got an opportunity to be
Of course.
in a big production, I would love it.
Yeah.
But just that feeling of like, hey man, we're all doing it together. And one thing I really enjoyed, um, we'll use Wog Boys as an example, was I was in unit as well as doing an acting role.
Yeah,
I
okay.
love the fact that I was dabbling into crew as well as performance, and there was something humbling about that. Like nobody, even Anthony Sharp, who's one of the main characters in that film, did 2 days a unit.
Did he really?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
and that was just like so humbling. It's like, hey man, you got one of the leads or a support character
Mhm.
that's doing work there as well. Nick Farnell, same thing. He was working unit as well. Brett Swain also played another character in that, and he was
'Cause they were producing on that as well, were they, or no?
no. So the producers on that was, I think it was just Nick Giannopoulos and a few other investors, but don't quote me on that.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, they came in to do 2-3 day worth of acting roles, and the line producer Nelson, who knows all that
Mhm.
crowd, was like, and Frank Latito, obviously, he was like, hey man, you guys want to also do this because we can get pro crew, but we want to kind of keep this in a
Yeah,
kind of
great.
way
Right.
where we can help each other and look
Yeah,
after
that's
each
a
other.
much nicer scenario than, "Hey, while in between scenes, do you wanna go and grab that
You want to
bucket
get
of
that coffee?
cords?"
No.
Yeah.
So the days that you were acting, you were
Doing
as
your
an actor,
acting,
yeah,
yeah.
and then the other days you could be unit managers, and we
Well,
had
that's
a
an extra couple
co-unit
days of
manager
work.
thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was just nice to go, hey man, yeah, you could just do 2 days. Thanks for coming, or hey man, you want to make
Yeah, well,
extra amount of bank being on this project?
100% and be on set for longer and yeah, and it
Yeah,
will be remembered too. All that shit is remembered, so the next time it comes around, oh,
yeah. And I think Nelson now has got the reputation of being, hey, you're the guy that had the actor unit.
right,
And
right.
because everyone thought it was like unheard of, because everyone knows, if you know film, you know that unit are usually the guys that are just like grumpy old dudes that have had enough of the industry, and they're just kind of like, yeah, what more do
Yeah,
you have to do
coffees.
stuff
Yeah.
and drive the trucks, and
Yeah,
can't be
bitch and
fucked with
moan
life.
about precious actors. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But it was so refreshing that Nelson was like, "Oh, yeah, you're not on unit today. You're acting." He's like, "Yeah, yeah, I am. Yeah." And then when you're back in unit, they treated you not like, just crew or the help. They knew that you were going to be acting in the film as well, so that everyone treated everyone with real kind of humbling respect, which was
No
really nice.
segregation sort of
And it
amongst
was
roles.
so
Yeah.
nice, even with lighting department, with all that. Do you know that there is always a little bit of divide between actors and the crew?
Sure.
Um, but this kind of was the first stepping stone to kind of just going, hey, we're all in it together. We're all
Mm,
making the film
mm.
together.
Yeah.
And that was actually an amazing experience.
I found that to be a hard thing to sell too, actually, even to like when lockdown first hit, I put together a group of actors and I said, you know what, between us, we've got enough gear, we've got enough talent, and still people kind of shit canned it. Oh, nah, but you need this and you need this and rah, rah, rah. I was like, why can't we all do it?
Why can't we do it?
Yeah, like, why can't we just pick one location? We spend the next month
Yeah.
writing this thing. Like, even if it's not fucking usable, do you know what I mean? Like, let's just put it, like, I couldn't sell it.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
we all went and wrote something, and then no one wanted to pull the trigger on actually. Like, it might cost us $1,000 for food, and it, like, I didn't get it.
Yeah.
I'm still of the mind that if, like, because of the nature of all of us now, we all know how to shoot something.
Yeah.
Mics, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, even if you fucking just hang one from the like, people like myself and you and Sharpie, we've all know how to use a drill or a fucking.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
We've
mean?
got
Like,
other talents other than just being the actors.
100%.
Yeah.
Like, I
Um,
don't get it. Yeah.
I will say, of course, use professionals when professional, like pro lighting guy, pro this,
If you
pro that,
can, of
if you can.
course. Yeah.
But if you can't,
And
and
you're
you
sitting
want
around doing fuck all.
and you're like, yeah, exactly. It's just like if you and your mates want to shoot that really cool scene that you wrote for something.
Yeah.
Again, I do a bunch of writing for theatre and for film,
Mm-hmm.
and I write a bunch of rules like one takes and
Mm-hmm.
stuff, or single scene monologues that they need for things. Like, hey man, I've got like 30 of them. The client picked two of them. Does want to shoot one of these 15 or 20 that are left over? Just so it gives you a chance to just play.
Yeah, dude.
And
Yeah.
that's the trick of our craft is you can't just wait for the next film.
Fuck no.
You've got to constantly be training, and the best way
100%.
to train is to play with your
Shoot
toys.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly,
man.
man.
And like it's all well and good to stand in front of the mirror and do monologues every day, and
Yeah,
that's great. But I just feel for me like I'm more accountable if I'm filming it. It
yep,
really puts me into it. And then I'm practicing like my, mid shot technique or my wide technique or my extreme close up technique, because that was one hard things for me when I first started, was just moving away and around too much when I was in a still shot and
yeah,
all those kinds of things. Because like, yes, the writing is critical, but when you're doing like little tests and things like that that you're going to release, like I'll give you an example. I did something last year in lockdown, right? Just a little thing that I wrote, sort of Midwest, not Midwest, like Wild West, whatever the fuck you want to call it, America.
yeah,
Um, Guy burying his daughter, right? It's just, Layla, let's just say, and it's a minute and a half, maybe 2 minutes, and he sort of walks into shot and takes off his hat and says this little bit. And the first couple of takes I did, I was always like looking away. Now, whether that's just watching too many Marlon Brando films, I don't know. You
yeah,
know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
To me, it felt natural, right?
yeah.
That if I was in real life, I probably would. But as a camera technique, I showed it to Sharpie, and he was like, keep
I know.
looking straight, mate.
Yeah,
Just don't take your eyes off the headstone. Fucking eyeball the shit out of it.
yeah,
Did that, and my agent was like, oh, yeah, that's the better one.
yeah.
So that kind of practice, like, you don't get that practice when you're doing it without reviewing.
When you're doing it on the job, like you do, I look at it like Circus. Circus, you train 7 days of the week for that one performance that goes for 1 hour
Mm-hmm.
in that show or that 6 minute act. So doing it in film, you can't just keep your craft at a high level with us going, we've got the gig, I'll do it on the gig and I'll recite some stuff, not in front of camera,
Mm-hmm.
in my mirror or walking around in my lounge room. I'll do a couple of line reads and I'm good. Nah,
Nah,
you've got to keep
I got to
playing
see it.
with your
Yeah.
mates and your toys and having an external eye, because I'm looking at the camera now. I might be going, oh, you know, this is not, this kind of feels right. But then if someone's out there going,
Yeah,
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 you
yeah,
know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah, yeah.
You know where you've got to be, because whereas eyes are not where we perceive that's necessarily be.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I like I said to you, I love this level of people working together, because then when we do shoot something that is the tits, something amazing,
Mm-hmm.
it's got so much heart and it's got everyone
Mm-hmm.
behind it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the great thing about it.
But have you ever studied PEM? Like, have you ever done any classes with PEM?
No.
Yeah. So PEM is Per de Camp Emotional Method.
Yeah.
And they're based in Melbourne. It's the only school in the Southern Hemisphere. Anyways, it's all a physiological acting technique, right?
Yeah.
Where it's not about memories or past traumas or childhood or anything like that. It's about the organs that activate emotions, right?
Yep.
So it's like a meditative connection to your liver that activates anger.
Yep.
So then your masks, like the anger mask, the hope mask, the love, hate, whatever. There's all these different masks. And so what they do, which is quite unique, is they train all of their crew in the same technique.
Yeah, right.
So if it's a really deep emotional scene, everyone's doing the same technique internally.
And everyone's
So
feeling
the energetic thing is just fucking off the chain.
that's
Yeah.
really
Yeah. So PEM's really great. I only did a 3-month course with them. Kind of at my max with courses and training.
Yeah.
At the moment. I did one in lockdown last year. Actually, it was really, really good. My agent put me on to, do you know Joe Kelly?
Yeah.
It's the same thing in terms of, but deeper. It's not about acting techniques per se as it is unlocking all of the blockages that you have. You
Yeah.
know, so you're going to her because you're fucking a bit jammed up.
Yeah.
And you've got fear and stuff like that. And she does incredible breath work and what have you. But one of the things that I did, so they have this fucking exercise. I don't think I've ever talked about this on the podcast because I stopped doing the podcast for about a year.
Yeah.
While I was doing it. The $2 exercise. Have you heard of this?
No.
Fuck, you probably have no problems with it. But that's just an assertion I'm making here. You got to go to strangers
Yeah.
in the street and ask for $2.
Yeah.
And then you've got to do everything in your ability not to get it.
Right. Everything in your ability.
And then I never quite understood that component. I think it's just the fear aspect of it. But you got to do it 10 times a day for this period of the course.
Yeah.
And we were in lockdown when we did it. And I was like, nah, no, I'm not doing it. Fuck no. I did 2 years of door-to-door charity. So I've asked plenty of strangers for money. So I'm good. But the idea is that 9 out of 10 people are terrified to do that.
Yeah.
Especially, you know, hardworking citizens. Like there's a pride thing involved and it's just like to just smash all of that.
Yeah.
So I get it. But what I ended up doing in replacement of it is singing. And that terrifies me.
Dude, that's my fear.
All right.
Man,
yeah.
you can get me on stage. I've done scenes on stage in cabarets where I have a proposed malfunction and I get my dick out on stage. Now that shit is, you know, getting your wang out in front of an audience, in front of your parents as well that have come seen the show, whatever. You know, you've got 400 audience members in a Spiegel tent.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, and they're looking at beautiful, you know, chiseled acrobats that are naked as well in certain scenes. And you're like,
here it comes.
I've got to fucking follow that. Yeah, sweet.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, I feel
the singing is
singing. I'd be like, you know what?
Yeah, can I just get my dick out instead?
That'll always be my first preference.
I'll make someone sing.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I did a kids show where they're like, we need you to sing the opener, and I'm like,
nah.
Really? And they're like, yeah, it's like, dude, you have to do it. Even if it's horrible, it doesn't matter. It's a kid's show. And they kept trying to like disarm me by saying that. And I was like,
I know what you're doing.
So I did. And it was so horrible.
Oh, the kids were crying.
No, the next day they're like, hey man, don't. So I'm like, thank fuck.
Yeah, and you're like, see what I did there?
Yeah. Guys, should have just told me to get my dick out. It would have been even better.
No, look, you know, fuck. I was in a musical when I was 13. You know, no dramas. Someone said they were like, "Yep, we're singing in this one." Sweet as. I was from a Catholic school. We sang all the time.
Yeah.
Long story short, high school didn't go so well. My 20s were very timid.
Yep.
And it's been on my list of things to do because. Well, so the thing for me is like acting terrified me, right? And I wanted to do it since I was 6. And then when I was 32, I finally got the courage to do it. And I remember sitting outside my first acting class, sweating bullets, just fucking terrified to go in there. But I did it. And even if it was bad, when I watched my stuff back, I was like, man,
I did it.
This is cool. I did it.
Yeah.
But when I sing and I listen back, I'm like, oh, God. And it's so that compounds my fear. But anyway, so this class, I said, okay, well, I'm going to have to do it. So the first port of call was just to sing loud enough that anyone in the vicinity could hear me.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I'd be terrified that the neighbors are going to hear me. You know what I mean? So then I started doing that. And then I did a live song to the group. Yeah. So they weren't live watching, but it was a live video. So I couldn't record it and tweak it and fuck around. I just had to hit live record.
Yeah.
My fucking legs like this the whole time, you know. And it's I've sent Sharpie a couple of clips and I can see you can carry a tune, you know. But you know. So and I need to get back to it, but it's certainly having Layla, you just sing all the time.
Yeah.
You know, because someone posted something the other day and it's so true. And I forget what the context was in terms of what happens to people in their lives, but children learn to sing and dance before they learn to run and talk.
Mm-hmm.
They just intuitively sing. Everything's a song.
Yeah.
Before she said any words, she was humming songs.
Yeah.
And then her first words, she would embed into the
The song.
tune.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know, so whatever it was, twing, na 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 na, mommy and daddy, na,
Yeah.
na, you know, like that,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
which is wild. And I mean, the dancing is, and so like I remember I played Pour Some Sugar on Me by Def Leppard once, and you know, it comes in with that kick, and she's sort of like, oh, what? No, but she came on, she went,
Yeah.
and we were like, oh, so cool, you
Yeah.
know. And they really have this; they feel the energy of it, you
Yeah.
know. And it changes. Like I was down in the gym the other day, and Tool was playing,
Yeah.
and but it came on when she was down there, and she put her hand on the bench like that, and just started going
Yeah.
like this, like heavy metal sort of stuff, and then she's like with her pretend guitar.
Yeah.
It changes it, you know. If it's Adele, they feel it, you know, before they even know what it
What
is
it
and how to
is.
say it. Um, yeah, it's wild. Yeah, so the singing thing is I don't even know how we got on that tangent of fear, but
Technique break the $2 technique.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, just an extension of our PEM conversation about techniques. So it was a great course. I never actually got to fucking finish it, so I
Oh
need to
man.
go back
Go
and
back and
do it.
finish it. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to do a reset. So it's like a 12-week endeavor. I
Yeah,
think I
right.
went back to work, and you know, lockdowns lifted, and it was like just fucking full throttle. So, and that's the other thing you'll know yourself is a management of time.
Yeah. This is
It's
something
fucking hard.
I'm slowly but surely getting better at. You know, because running the circus company, plus treating myself as an actor as my own separate entity, myself as a performer in the circus and cabarets and live theatre as a separate entity. My company does designs. You know, today I'm going to Esoteric Festival out in Donald to do a lighting design and a giant lighting structure. It's about trying to figure out where everything sits and to allow enough time to continue training my crafts, circus, theatre, you know, just theatre craft, and then acting. And you know, when you've got pulling yourself in so many
Yeah.
directions, and then you've got normal jobs, or if you know, if you are lucky like me, that my normal job is still entertainment
Mm,
industry.
mm.
You know, it still pulls in different directions,
Yeah.
and just gets so mentally fatiguing, man.
Yes, it does. Yeah, yeah,
And,
yeah.
and honestly, that's why I started moving into, not to be a segue, but that's
Mhm.
why I moved into crypto investing. You know, more
I was
stocks.
literally thinking the same thing as you did it. So yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring it back to crypto
Bring
in
it
a
back to
second.
that, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But literally, that is why I started doing that stuff, and things like Cake DeFi, eToro, all these things where I could start earning a little bit of a passive income.
Yeah.
To guarantee that I've got, you know, $5-10 a day on this thing, on that platform, $2, monthly dividends on this. Then I could actually go, you know what? I don't need to even be in my craft, but sidelined in just technical work or
Mm.
just lighting work. I can just go, no, I'm focusing on training and I'm getting paid today, even if it is $5 an hour through other means to pay myself to do my training.
Yep.
Because people forget that being an actor, if you continuously train, which you're supposed to do, man, that's thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars a year that
Mhm.
you're hemorrhaging just to stay current.
Yeah.
When you train as a circus performer, just to be in the training studio at any open gym is $10 to $15 a day, and you've got to train 300 out of 365 days. A lot of money, man.
It's
You know
fucking a lot of money.
what
Yeah.
I
Which brings me back to what we were saying earlier. Like, there's no way around not spending money on your craft, right? And
Yeah,
for me, I would rather spend the money on making a short film,
yeah,
and that's how I justify um, where I'm at now and making this transition to possibly work full time is annual leave,
mhm,
right? So every year I know I'm going to get 3-4 weeks, and I'm going to have a considerable bump in my salary.
yeah.
So I'll take a portion of that extra, and that will go to making sure that I film something
In that period.
in that period every year,
See,
which
that's
is
smart. That means you've got yourself a guaranteed one
yeah,
month,
yeah,
or even if it's two-week
yeah.
periods, and make something, and you're getting paid to do it.
And I release something every year. You know, not to mention whatever else may
Keeping
came
current.
along.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Plus whatever stuff you get with with your agent and all the other bits and pieces.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's a slippery slope to never doing it again.
Yeah.
Full-time work and being so beat down that you get home, you do fuck all.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I get up at fucking 5:36 every morning. Is at the moment it's like just I'm trying to jam as much crypto knowledge into my brain as I can because I see it the same way as you that it will be my exit strategy. Even to the point where I can use that passive income to not only live but to
Yeah.
make films,
Yeah.
and
Absolutely.
sort of build a platform or something that facilitates that. That's the goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And stuff like crypto, it's that emerging markets,
Mm.
right? It's stuff that's so new, even though it's been around now since Jesus 2008, but it's only been really in the public eye since realistically 2015, 2016. And then there was the big
At
crypto
best,
boom at
yeah.
2017,
Yeah.
right?
Even then, I would say
Oh,
only
people,
30% of the people I spoke to knew what I was
oh,
talking about. Yeah.
geez, man. When I was talking to people, I think 1 in 10, like
Mm.
10%. And I was like, I got in when Bitcoin was at $100, and I didn't want to touch it. I didn't want to touch it. I bought a single Bitcoin at $100, and it made it to 150. I was like, I'm fucking selling this. I don't know what the fuck this shit is. And I was just like, nah, fuck it off. And I got rid of it straight away. And then Ethereum came into the early 2017, or it was late. It was 2016, 2017,
Mm.
and I saw it creep from $7 to 13. I was like, what is this? What
Mm.
is this voodoo? And then it made it to $35. I'm like, all right, you know what? I'll buy $100 worth.
Mm.
And that, yeah, it got me 2.5 or 3 or whatever it was. And then I saw that immediately push up to $70, time span of a month. And it was when I
Mm.
was in Adelaide Fringe. So I was like, oh, my show, I need to worry about my shows.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, that's just made a little extra money. So I sold it.
Mm-hmm.
And I used that to put more money in advertising. And then I rebought the same amount. And then I was like, oh, fuck it. I'll get the money back in the advertising and put it straight in. And I ended up buying 4 Ethereum. And that 4 Ethereum over the span of that year pushed me to a ridiculous point. Selling it when it made it up to 150, $200 from $35. I was like, great.
Mm-hmm.
And then I made even more money. And then I found other cryptos and slowly just kept doing that. And I remember buying Ripple or XRP, sorry, not Ripple, because Ripple's a company, XRP at 20 cents, and then it booming up to $3.50.
Yeah. Fuck.
And
Yeah, I
then
was part of
also I bought it, and then I sold it, and then I bought on a sliding scale, which unfortunately XRP
Kept sliding.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But it made me learn a very, very valuable thing, education.
Yeah.
And that's why now I didn't just follow. At one point, I was following the trade rumors and that kind of news. I was like, okay, I actually got to understand about the project.
Mm-hmm.
And I started doing a lot of research on the projects. And that's why now my crypto portfolio is only in stuff that I've done a lot of research in.
Yeah, right.
Where I did about a good solid, I'm talking like full-time amount of research on the Cake DeFi and the DeFi chain network, and just the idea of decentralized finance. I spent 6 months maybe researching decentralized finance, and I was like, okay, get it now. There's different types, different blockchains, because everyone's got a different operating system, so to speak. And it's just like, which one is the right one for me? And that's when I moved from just having my crypto holdings, just eToro, to having it in Cake DeFi, Hive Engine, still looking at Sushi Swap and then Pancake Swap. But at its essence, in terms of crypto, decentralized finance is the easiest and sole purpose at the moment that is like a very viable, tangible use of cryptocurrency.
100%.
Everyone's like, oh yeah, I want this to be this thing and a token that represents this and that. I love it. Great. Good job. But you're not one of the big operating systems like Bitcoin network or your Ethereum network, which a multitude of other coins that come from, or Cardano or any of that. Your coin's essentially in-game currency, right? And you're basically like Decentraland or something like that.
Like
You're really, you're really basic,
like native tokens that only utilize
within that network.
Yeah.
It's such as like, it's great and it's awesome if that project kicks ass. but there's a lot of projects that will not kick ass and eventually fade away.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Or they'll get outdone by a bigger market cap.
Mhm.
Like Meta, once Facebook and Meta really start putting their effort into the metaverse, you'll start seeing a lot of those virtual reality real estate spaces disappear.
Gobbled up by them, you think?
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
right.
So that's why I stick to the OSs, as I call them, the operating systems. Ethereum is the building block, Bitcoin, and it spurns out of it Litecoin, Dash, and all these other coins. Things like Cardano, which is another operating system. The Tron network, another operating system. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
this makes sense to
Polygon.
invest in
Yeah.
those ones. But yeah, Cake DeFi is an offshoot of it's the DeFi chain network that's built off Bitcoin. And that's where I started looking at that. And the fact that it started giving daily tangible income that I could see in my thing. Before that, you're getting just tokens, which do in the DeFi chain and Cake DeFi.
Yeah.
You see it. But now I'm seeing it come in at a daily basis every 12 hours or 24 hours, depending on the thing that I'm doing. And the idea of liquidity mining, I'm seeing it stack back in.
Yeah.
And I can just cash it out whenever I like.
Yeah.
Or I can freeze it in long-term deposit.
Yeah.
For a period of 1 month up to 10 years. What a fucking great idea. Not that
Yeah.
I'd ever want to touch the 10 years.
No.
The incentives are great on it, but the market space in crypto at the moment moves so quickly that just even putting it away for 12 months is like, all right, got
Commitment.
got
Yeah.
some balls. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
doing it.
Yeah. You want to be able to you want to be able to pull it out in a rising bull run and not come to
Yeah,
the end in
exactly.
the middle of a bear.
And just at the end of the day, to be able to go, okay, I'm making roughly $9, $10 US a day, which is what my holdings are doing at the moment, through a mix of different liquidity mines. Just the concept of I'm being somebody's personal bank. The concept of liquidity mining is it's so great that it's decentralized now, because once upon a time, the banks would give you a loan, or a pawn shop at 10% would
Yeah,
give
it's
you
the people giving you a loan.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone
And
who's invested.
and you as an investor can go, oh, I've only got a measly $200-$300. I would like to contribute to that and get the rewards from that, because not only are you getting like the powering award of doing it, of being part of it, but you're also getting transaction fees. A portion in representative.
Yeah, like the 12% gas that's across the board type thing.
Yeah, and in the Bitcoin network's a lot smaller, but then the value of what you're getting in Satoshis ends up being quite a lot. Like I'll do every 24 hours with my liquidity mining that I've got, Cake DeFi. I'm earning 4 to 6 cents a day Bitcoin on top of my 5% return per annum, or AP. Yeah, that's my APY. So, and that's compounded every 12 hours on the amount that I've invested.
And that's in Cake.
Yeah, and that's in Cake.
Yeah.
And that, I know you go, oh, what's 4 cents? But that 4 cents then gets compounded again. I put it back in.
It's better than not.
It just keeps stacking.
Yeah. Because otherwise, the alternative is it just sits in a wallet somewhere and does fuck all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I love the idea of liquidity mining, because there is a lot of risks in it, obviously. Impermanent loss being the biggest one. But the way I see it is, I've invested that money 2-3 years, and I just want the residual to go and become something that I can cash out, or I can compound into a staking pool.
Yeah.
So that's how I mitigate my risk. So then once that money, if I get the same amount of money back out of that liquidity mine, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Because it's already shot out 50%. Even if I lose 10-15%, the fact that I've got 50% per annum sitting already out of it, I've already moved out of the loss.
Yeah.
A lot
I'm
of people
spread out over all kinds of different platforms. Yeah, I've got, I don't know, I would say 80% of everything I own right now is staked.
Yeah.
Yeah, or being mined, pooled, or what have you. Even the crypto.com card.
Yeah. It's a cool little.
Dude, I mean, like, I've already made.
Well, you get your rebates and it's going straight back.
$200 or something in 2.5 months in tokens given back to me on all my purchases.
Yeah, exactly. And you do stuff with Spotify and
you get free Netflix and Spotify all year round.
Yeah, because it gets rebated 100%.
Yeah, plus you get 10% on your staked money, so it's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah,
like you're not getting anything for spending on your normal card.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just these little incentives that are coming out, and it's only going to get more popular. I mean, Jesus, Crypto.com was at the UFC, was the main sponsor.
Dude, they're on the back of AFL players now.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
exactly.
mean, I didn't see that one.
Yeah, exactly. You see that, you go, cool. It's
Huge.
getting into the market, and
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
and it's here to stay, no matter what everyone's trying to say. Or, those people that don't know, like
Crazy.
people that are just like hardcore stocks and commodities, they go, "Nah, mate, it's just a phase, it's just .com bubble, mate. It's just no one of them.
It's so
We saw
funny.
it happen in
Yeah, yeah,
2017.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Whatever, mate. You saw it come back, didn't you?
yeah.
My dad still, he's trying and he's watching the chart, but he's like, I just don't get what what are you what is it? What's the thing? I said, just sell it for cash.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it is.
At the end of the day,
You can sell it and it's
it's
popular.
it's a digital commodity that you unload fiat currency eventually.
Yeah.
But you look at even now, this Dash network is brilliant. I've always loved Dash, and I've bought it when it was $10, and I bought it when it was $700 and $1,500.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's a rough one. Now it's sitting at like 80, $90.
Right.
But now I look at Dash and I go, it's great because what they're trying to incentivize, Squarespace is starting to partner with some cryptos, and Dash is one of them. Zambreros accepts
Hmm.
Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Dash.
It'd be crazy to spend those things on tangible goods though.
But
Like,
I love the concept
I
that it's there
do,
because it
yeah.
marries and it pegs to the US dollar, or here in Australia with Zambreros, it pegs to the Aussie dollar.
Okay.
And just the fact that people are starting to do it. I mean, my business was the first circus company in the world, which I just love this my little
Mm.
claim to fame. Die a happy man now, that's it. The fact that my company was the first circus company to accept a payment from clients in crypto.
Yeah.
I love the network and I love the ecosystem that is crypto space. So naturally, I've got to be willing to accept the payments from, for services rendered. I
Mm.
just cash it out immediately and give it to my artist as fiat currency.
Yeah, yeah.
I do offer it to them. I go, hey guys, it's been
It's your
paid like
choice.
this. Do you want
Mm-hmm.
me to pay you in cash or crypto?
Mm-hmm.
And I love that. And I just want to start seeing it happen at a quicker network. Bitcoin, I've got a feeling that it won't become a thing that you can pay immediately everywhere just because the network's a little too slow.
Too slow, yeah.
But things like Dash, Ethereum, all that stuff, even though there's congestion on the Ethereum network, once it upgrades to 2.0, that
Oh,
congestion is going to disappear. I mean, everything's happening in the same speed that you do with the bank. And all a bank is doing, in essence, with your money.
bastard. I mean, be paid still 3 days.
Yeah, exactly. But like you look at just like when you tap at a register,
Sure.
right?
When it's
That
done.
happens. But what's happening is it's sending a signal and then it's going, yep, we're taking that money regardless of what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, the card checks out, it's still got some form of balance. All right, we'll do it. Right. But I can't do that internationally. I can't buy internationally that quickly. You know, obviously with debit card and a credit card, you can,
Mm-hmm.
but it relies on signals getting spent
Mm-hmm.
backwards and forwards. But just how cool of an idea of just being able to go to the supermarket one day, be able to tap, you wait 10 seconds, goes, yep, you've been cleared, bang, and you spent it on Dash. You've got your groceries have been bought with Dash or it's been bought with XRP
Mm.
if they were decentralized or, anything. And you're like, this is great. And if I'm getting my money mined, arguments like on Cake DeFi, I would love the concept of a DeFi chain card that I could just go, cool, that's how much I've made in the
Where
day.
you spend your
That's my
interest.
coffee money.
Yeah.
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 Spend your interest. Like, how cool is that?
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. My buddy uses it's CoinJar.
Oh,
And
yeah.
they've got a card and it just spends his Litecoin.
Yeah.
And he does it with everything. But now he's onto the crypto card because he gets kickbacks, whereas you don't with the CoinJar
Yeah.
card. And I always thought, I just don't want to spend something that's so volatile. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? I don't want to pay $100 for something and then find out it actually cost me $200 because it went up 100%
Yeah.
overnight. I'm like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
That's why I only spend stable coins. But eventually we'll get there. I don't know if Bitcoin will ever level out. I don't think so. I think it will only ever, the less and less of it there is, the more and more expensive it'll be.
I think we got to look at Bitcoin in a very traditional commodity sense. It will eventually take the place of
Gold.
gold.
Yeah.
Right. And nowadays, you don't go around with a gold bar.
Interesting conversation, which I'm not sure we have time for. But
Yeah.
just quickly, what is the time?
We're at 9:15.
Sweet. Yeah, like just with all the instability in the world, I read a very interesting article yesterday about holding gold, and now in these uncertain times, and if you hold too much, government can come in and take it. But
Yep.
if you hold under a certain point, you can hold on to it, and then there's places in Australia that will turn whatever you're say. I spend 50 grand on gold. They can put it into coins for you, so it's fractionalized.
Yep.
So if we lose power and crypto gone,
Yep.
because with no power, no crypto.
Exactly. It doesn't exist without electricity.
That's right. So if old mate starts dropping nukes
Yep.
and everything gets fucked up, it will be cash and gold. Cash maybe, but gold for certain. Durable.
There will definitely be a commodity market. But yeah,
But it will be person to person.
and actually, useful bit of trivia here. The reason you don't buy ingots and you buy trading rounds, because trading rounds have got you'll notice that like they'll have a dollar value of another country, or Perth Mint will go, oh, it's a $3 coin, but it's fucking $1,500 worth of gold in that coin.
Yeah, okay.
The reason they stamp it and countries stamp it with the mint stamp of currency value, that's a way to avoid your taxes that you're talking about.
Yeah, okay.
So that's why people buy,
under
a $10 Canadian maple that is 1 ounce of pure gold.
Right.
Technically, yes, you can take it to a shop and get $10 Canadian for it, but it's got $1,500 worth of gold in it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And
nice.
Because if it's legal tender, it's not subject to tax. You're hoarding coin.
Okay.
But if you're hoarding ingots and rounds, then you're subject to tax.
Okay, because it's not something you live, or like in terms
Yeah,
of
you can't transact with it.
Yeah.
Which is quite an interesting loophole.
That is an interesting loophole that they would even be allowed.
Yeah. Oh, a lot of things can be allowed if if it's coming from the
research.
But yeah, back to crypto. I see that eventually Bitcoin is going to be people's store of wealth.
Sort of is, isn't
it?
Yeah.
Well, it really doesn't have ability anymore with payments because of how slow the network is. Like when I sent you the $50 worth of Bitcoin,
it's a half an hour or something, wasn't it, or more?
Yeah, or no, it was nearly half a day because
because
the network was experiencing high traffic. But then you look at other things like the Litecoin network, 30 seconds. At worst a minute.
Yeah, right.
At the moment, you can't have that at a cash register.
No. Fuck no. Can you imagine?
Exactly. Yeah. Unless you come up with a system that holds it in escrow and then releases it afterwards, providing that it all works. And that's where, like, I guess the crypto.com cards work really well because it goes, oh, yeah, we're just automatically converting to this or that, or you load it with just stable coin and then you get rebates.
The card even, I've got 3 buddies now who all jumped on suit with me and we all got them.
Yeah.
Even, I don't know whether it's just the technology in the chip, but it fucking, like, bang.
Yeah.
Like my standard bank card.
Beep.
The crypto card, maybe it's because it's metal, and poof.
Yeah, it's just like must be a signal boost or something.
Yeah. It just fires so good.
Yeah.
Closing note, back to non-crypto. We were talking about, you were saying that you write scenes and all this kind of stuff. Something I'd really like to do, and you might have a similar idea or want to do something similar. Because one of the things that I love about doing this podcast, and I'm so glad to be back doing it after having such a hiatus, is this network effect. And just every now and then someone will sit down and we'll go, yeah, let's go and do something, like or whatever. But you've seen a film called The Sunset Limited?
No.
Right. So it was a play. Don't know who wrote it. Shot like a play. Tommy Lee Jones and Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah, right.
All in a New York apartment. It's completely dialogue driven. Obviously, it's from a play, and it's all in the same room. And you're watching a play.
Yeah.
But it's for us, right? Like no one who's not into film and writing and theater is going to enjoy it probably.
Yeah.
I love it. And it's lit beautifully, but you could set up a room like that and make a feature. It's a feature.
Absolutely.
And I really want to do that. So I want to step into 2 weeks rehearsal, shoot a film for 3-4 days or whatever it is, with the lighting setup is as it is.
Yep.
in a room that's totally
Studio
controlled.
exactly.
We can do that. I've got fucking 2 cameras here,
Yep.
2 lights. Sharpie's got lights. We
Got
know how to write.
black magic. We've got a bunch of
Yeah.
lights. Yeah.
I don't see why not. You know, and there's always this, oh yeah, but you know, don't think you realize how I do.
Yeah, we've been
Why
on
not?
both
And
ends.
we all know how to edit.
Yeah.
Like it could be, and it doesn't matter. And if it's something, the trick about it is to make it about something that's poignant, something that's zeitgeist. So then you can submit the thing.
Yeah.
And people go, wow, that's a bold move. Yeah, that's, you know, if the acting's great, like, because people, like, I spoke to a buddy who's a really great theater actor, and he's like, yeah, you know, stage plays transferred into film in that way don't track well. And I'm like, yeah, I know that they're a tough sell, but
A Few Good Men was a stage play.
no. But yes, I'm
Yeah.
talking about shooting it like it's on
Oh,
stage.
like it's on stage.
Yeah, because that just makes it cheap and makes
Yeah.
it easy to manage for a couple of guys.
You look at marquee TV. You ever watch any of the shows that come off marquee TV?
No.
They're basically live productions, literally live productions that are shot in film format. Like they'll have 3 or 4 cameras working on it. They look brilliant,
Yeah. So I'm a fan. So if you ever want to do something like that,
mate.
let me know,
Yeah.
because I would fucking love to do that. I just even for the experience, right? Of because it would be very rehearsal driven.
Yeah.
You know.
And the thing that I love about that as a concept is, yes, shot like a theatre piece. But the great thing about that is control where the audience is looking.
Yes, and then you have the ability to do close-ups, extreme close-ups,
Exactly.
and
So
that
then they can see that
the
stuff.
editing
So it's not
component.
pantomiming and
Yeah.
big.
And you've got music and what have you. I think it'd be really great.
Sounds good to me, man.
Thanks for coming on, man. I really appreciate it.
Absolute pleasure.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. Thanks for
Awesome.
having me around.
Nice to meet you.
Likewise.